At the crossroads, where Western Europe meets the wild Balkans, there exists a country where emotions are lived without filters. Serbia stands as that passionate nation where the continent's most intense women love, suffer, and celebrate with authenticity the modern world has forgotten, where men maintain honor codes that can be brutal yet profoundly loyal, and where every street tells stories of glory, tragedy, and resistance that have shaped Europe's most complex soul. Today, I'm going to reveal why Serbia has become Europe's best-kept secret for those seeking authentic life without Western artifices. But I'll also show you the emotional price of this experience. A country where genuine passion coexists with unresolved historical trauma, where legendary hospitality mixes with ancestral mistrust, and where living means accepting that intense emotions are a natural part of daily existence. Can you imagine living in a place where women express love with intensity that can terrify those accustomed to superficial relationships? Where men invite you to dinner and insist on paying because they consider hospitality a matter of national honor? Where neighbors have known each other for generations and where family celebrations can last 3 consecutive days? Serbia isn't just a country, it's a total emotional experience where each day reminds you what it means to live without social masks. But there's something the few who write about Serbia will never tell you. Behind this captivating authenticity exists national psychological complexity forged by centuries of conflicts, where intense joy and profound melancholy coexist in the same conversation, where national pride and brutal self-criticism are expressed simultaneously, and where understanding Serbian mentality requires accepting paradoxes that Western logic cannot resolve. From Belgrade's medieval fortresses to orthodox monasteries lost in mountains, from kafanas, where people sing until dawn, to rural houses where 3 generations live under the same roof, I'll take you on a journey revealing not only why some foreigners fall desperately in love with Serbia and never leave, but also why others flee after weeks unable to comprehend this culture's emotional intensity. Prepare to discover a society where every citizen carries in their DNA memory of Ottoman empires, Austro-Hungarian occupations, world wars, and NATO bombings, creating mentality combining epic survival with capacity for enjoyment that can be overwhelming. Also prepare for the contradictions of living in a country where tradition and modernity clash daily in every family. Are you ready to discover what it's really like living where emotions have no limits? Because what follows will forever transform your understanding of what human authenticity means. But before we continue, tell me in the comments, would you be capable of handling a culture where emotions are lived without filters and intensity is part of every relationship? Which aspect of Serbian passion seems most attractive or intimidating to you? Hit like if you want to discover more countries where emotional authenticity completely defines life experience, and subscribe to explore the planet's most intense cultures. Share this video with someone who needs to understand that a way of living where genuine passion is still possible exists, because this perspective can revolutionize their concept of authentic human relationships. To understand why Serbian life is so emotionally intense, we must comprehend how centuries of epic history created a culture where survival depended on unbreakable human bonds, from medieval Serbian empire splendor to modern resistance against all empires that tried to erase their identity. Serbian mentality was born from the necessity of maintaining cultural identity under constant foreign domination. During 500 years of Ottoman occupation, Serbians developed cultural resistance strategies, including preserving Orthodox traditions in secret, maintaining heroic epics through oral songs, and creating family loyalty codes that could survive any political catastrophe. Serbian men learned that personal honor is worth more than life itself, that protecting family and friends is sacred responsibility, and that given word is more valuable than any written contract. Serbian women developed emotional strength combining protective motherhood with intense romantic passion, traditions explaining why modern Serbian women can be simultaneously professionally independent but devoted in personal relationships. During Balkan Wars and both World Wars, Serbia lost devastating percentages of its male population, creating generations of women who had to be simultaneously mothers and fathers, workers and protectors. This experience forged Serbian femininity, combining emotional vulnerability with practical resistance that can confuse foreigners accustomed to more defined gender roles. Did you know Serbian tradition of Slava, family patron saint celebration, isn't just religious event, but social system maintaining family bonds, creating support networks and preserving cultural identity through generations? Each Serbian family celebrates their own Slava annually, inviting not only relatives but friends, neighbors, and anyone they consider part of their extended family. This tradition creates obligations, but also provides security network functioning better than any government social program. Music influence also profoundly shaped Serbian character. Serbian folk music, especially sevdalinka and epic ballads, teaches that emotions should be expressed fully, that suffering and joy are equally sacred, and that authentic life requires emotional courage. Serbians learn from childhood that suppressing emotions is unhealthy and that passionate expression is a sign of authenticity, not weakness. Serbian concept of inat, stubborn defiance, also defines national character. Inat means refusing to surrender even when logic suggests defeat, maintaining dignity despite impossible odds, and choosing honor over practical advantage. This mentality helped Serbians survive centuries of foreign domination, but also creates conflicts in modern situations where compromise might be more effective. The tradition of zadruga, extended family cooperatives, also molded social expectations. Historically, multiple generations and related families lived together, sharing resources, responsibilities, and decision-making. While modern life modified these arrangements, expectation of family loyalty, collective decision-making, and mutual support remains central to Serbian identity. And here's the first secret of Serbian mentality: SRCE, heart. The belief that decisions should be made with heart more than head, that emotional truth is more important than logical analysis, and that relationships based on emotional connection are more valuable than those based on practical benefit. But what will really fascinate you is how this emotional heritage manifests in modern daily life. Now let's get to real experience. What's it actually like living in modern Serbia? And here's where emotional intensity, geographic position, and social traditions create a lifestyle that literally feels like emotional boot camp for anyone accustomed to reserved Western interactions. First, Serbian social lifestyle. In Serbia, personal relationships aren't casual, they're total commitment. When Serbians become your friends, they become your family, providing emotional support, practical help, and lifelong loyalty that can feel overwhelming for individualistic personalities. Serbian men maintain tradition of treating friends like brothers, sharing everything from money to personal problems, and expecting same level of commitment in return. Serbian women create female networks, providing everything from career advice to childcare support, but also expect participation in complex social obligations that can consume significant time and emotional energy. Did you know Serbian hospitality includes expectation that guests will stay for hours, share meals, and discuss everything from personal problems to political opinions? Declining Serbian hospitality is considered serious offense, but accepting means entering extended social obligations that can last years. This creates warm, supportive communities, but also social pressure to conform to group expectations. Second factor, Serbian work culture. Serbians approach work as extension of personal relationships rather than purely economic transactions. Business dealings include extensive personal conversation, family updates, and relationship building that Western professionals might consider inefficient. Serbian men frequently change careers based on personal connections rather than abstract opportunity, valuing loyalty and trust over salary maximization. Serbian women balance professional ambitions with extensive family obligations, often working full-time while managing complex household responsibilities, including caring for elderly parents and maintaining social relationships. Serbian seasonal lifestyle is also distinctive. Summers explode in outdoor socializing, family gatherings in countryside, festivals celebrating everything from music to food, and extended vacations where entire extended families travel together. Winters concentrate social life in warm, intimate spaces where people gather for lengthy conversations, elaborate meals, and emotional sharing that can last until dawn. Third crucial element, emotional expression. Serbians don't hide emotions, they celebrate them. Anger, joy, sadness, and love are expressed fully and immediately, creating intense but authentic interactions. Serbian families discuss everything openly, argue passionately, and resolve conflicts through emotional catharsis rather than logical negotiation. This directness can shock people from cultures valuing emotional restraint, but it creates deep, authentic relationships. And you know what's most impressive about Serbian character? The combination of extreme hospitality with natural skepticism. Serbians will give strangers food, shelter, and money without hesitation, but they're also naturally suspicious of institutions, governments, and abstract authority. This creates warm, personal relationships, but complex relationship with formal structures. Food influence is also fundamental. Serbian cuisine emphasizes lengthy, elaborate meals, where multiple generations gather for hours of conversation while consuming hearty dishes, reflecting agricultural traditions. These meals aren't just nutrition, but social rituals where family bonds are strengthened, cultural knowledge transmitted, and community relationships maintained. Serbian approach to time also differs dramatically from Western punctuality expectations. Events start when people arrive, last until natural conclusion, and prioritize emotional satisfaction over schedule adherence. This creates relaxed, human-centered lifestyle, but can frustrate people accustomed to time management and efficiency. But here's the most complex paradox. This emotionally rich lifestyle hides tensions transforming Serbian society. And this is where Serbian life shows its most turbulent side, because behind all this emotional authenticity exist political, economic, and generational tensions, profoundly affecting the experience of living in this country. First, explosive contradiction. Serbia is one of the world's most hospitable countries for visitors, but also maintains deep internal divisions based on unresolved historical trauma. Serbian families can be divided by events that occurred decades ago, 90s wars, political decisions, regional loyalties, creating tensions affecting everything from career opportunities to marriage choices. Young Serbians frequently feel trapped between loyalty to family traditions and desire for international opportunities, requiring moving beyond historical grievances. Did you know Serbia has one of Europe's highest emigration rates, with more than 300,000 people leaving since 2000? Young educated Serbians emigrate to Germany, Austria, and Canada, seeking economic opportunities and political stability. But many struggle with emotional isolation in Western cultures that feel cold and impersonal compared to Serbian emotional intensity. Second revelation, impacting relationships. Serbian expectations about relationships are so intense that many foreigners find them overwhelming. Serbian women expect passionate romance, total emotional commitment, and integration into extended family networks that can include dozens of relatives with opinions about your relationship. Serbian men demonstrate affection through grand gestures, complete availability, and sometimes possessive behavior, reflecting cultural expectation that love should be total and exclusive. Economic situation also creates unique stresses. While cost of living is low compared to Western Europe, salaries are also low, average 400 to 600 euros monthly, creating frustrated middle class that can afford basic necessities but struggle with aspirational purchases. This creates social tension between those with international income or connections and those dependent on local economy. And you know what's the most brutal contradiction of Serbian system? The country desperately wants European integration, but also wants to preserve cultural authenticity that European bureaucracy might compromise. This creates political paralysis, where progress toward EU membership conflicts with desire to maintain Serbian identity, creating frustrated population wanting benefits of Western integration without cultural costs. Third social bomb. The difference between life in Belgrade versus rural areas is massive. Belgrade offers cosmopolitan lifestyle with international restaurants, cultural events, and liberal social attitudes. But 60% of Serbians live in smaller towns where economic opportunities are limited. Social pressure is intense, and traditional expectations can feel suffocating for people with modern aspirations. Political divisions also affect daily life in ways outsiders don't realize. Serbian families frequently include members with completely different political views, some supporting European integration, others preferring Russian alliance, others focusing on regional nationalism, creating family gatherings that can become heated political debates. Did you know there's widespread informal economy where many Serbians work multiple jobs, trade services, and rely on personal networks for opportunities not reflected in official statistics? This creates resilient communities, but also undermines formal economic development and tax collection. Cultural preservation also creates generational conflicts. Older Serbians want to maintain traditional customs, language purity, and orthodox religious practices, while younger Serbians want international exposure, cultural mixing, and individual choice that sometimes conflicts with family expectations. And the most shocking revelation, many Serbian families develop emotional management strategies that include. After this deep journey through Serbian reality, we reach the most important conclusion. Serbia isn't just a Balkan country, but an emotional laboratory where you can experience what it means to live with total authenticity. But this experience requires emotional courage and cultural adaptability that very few people are prepared to embrace completely. The final synthesis about Serbian life is revealing. It's the only country in modern Europe where emotional authenticity is valued more than social conformity, where personal relationships are prioritized over institutional efficiency, and where cultural traditions are maintained not through government programs, but through passionate individual commitment to preserving heritage. What makes Serbian experience unique? It's the only place where you can experience what happens when societies prioritize emotional truth over political correctness, where individual passion is celebrated rather than suppressed, and where community bonds are so strong they can survive economic crisis, political upheaval, and social change that would destroy less cohesive societies. Serbian experience teaches that authentic living requires emotional courage, that meaningful relationships demand total commitment, and that cultural preservation requires active participation, not passive consumption. It demonstrates that quality of life isn't just material comfort, but richness of human connections and depth of cultural experience. Is experiencing Serbian life worthwhile? Depends entirely on your emotional constitution and tolerance for intensity. If you value authentic relationships, passionate expression, and deep cultural connections more than privacy, efficiency, and predictable social interactions, Serbia can offer life experiences that will transform your understanding of what's possible in human relationships. If you need emotional distance, professional boundaries, and social predictability, it may feel overwhelming and exhausting. For men considering Serbia, prepare for culture, expecting total emotional availability, passionate commitment, and active participation in extended social networks. Serbian friendships and romantic relationships require time, energy, and emotional investment that can feel demanding but also incredibly rewarding. For women, you'll find culture celebrating feminine passion, emotional expression, and strong family bonds, but also expecting high levels of personal involvement in family and community affairs. For families evaluating Serbia, it's an excellent place for raising children who are emotionally intelligent, culturally grounded, and socially connected. Serbian children grow up in extended family networks, learn cultural traditions naturally, and develop strong sense of identity and belonging. However, limited economic opportunities and political uncertainty may impact children's future choices. For professionals considering Serbia, low cost of living, educated workforce, and growing tech sector create opportunities, but business success requires understanding that relationships and trust are more important than credentials and efficiency. Networking is personal, time-consuming, but ultimately more rewarding than formal professional interactions. Serbian life is that unique combination where emotional authenticity meets cultural preservation, where individual passion contributes to collective strength, and where traditional values coexist with modern aspirations. It's proof that societies can maintain human warmth and cultural depth in an increasingly globalized world. Serbians have demonstrated that emotional courage is essential for authentic living, that passionate relationships require total commitment, and that cultural heritage is preserved through active participation, not museum preservation. Their culture isn't just way of living, it's lesson in what's possible when societies prioritize human connections over institutional efficiency. Serbia teaches that true wealth is richness of relationships, that real freedom is freedom to express emotions authentically, and that meaningful life is built through passionate commitment to people and traditions that matter most. Which destination should we explore next to discover countries where emotional authenticity defines quality of life? You decide.